push to try to get the ACC to expand with California and Stanford, but it looks like they came up a little short. Welcome to episode 290 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Brett McMurphy, the great Brett McMurphy of Action Network, puts down an article last night. We provide a link in the description. You can read the whole thing. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. Sources: Notre Dame pushing for ACC to add Stanford, Cal. SMU would join without revenue. Holy smokes. Notre Dame, an ACC member in every sport but football, is pushing for the ACC to add Stanford and Cal, while SMU told the ACC the Mustangs would not require any league revenue for the first 5 to 7 years after joining, sources told Action Network. Notre Dame initiated us bringing on Stanford and Cal, continues to push, yet Notre Dame won't join the ACC as a full-time member. That doesn't make any sense to us, according to an ACC source. Notre Dame's push to add Stanford and Cal was first reported by Tiger Illustrated Larry Williams. While Notre Dame continues to try and build support for Stanford Cal, SMU is trying a unique approach to move from the American to the ACC. The Mustangs said they will not require any league revenue for the first 5 to 7 years upon joining. The ACC's revenue from TV rights, college football playoff, bowl games, NCAA tournament units, and other sources is at least $42 million. So the Mustangs, even at a reduced amount, would be bypassing potentially $150 million over a 5-year span. Again, holy smokes. What SMU showed us is that they would require zero in league revenue, a source said. That's a long-term play for them. They think that if they can get into a Power 5 conference, then it's not a bad play thinking 30 years down the road instead of the 1 or 2 years from now like most universities think. They have the pockets to do it. The Mustangs would receive a full ACC share by 2030, a source said. Upon joining, Stanford and Cal would receive a reduced share, about 70% of what the ACC schools currently receive. Again, you can read the whole article from last night from Action Network, Brett McMurphy. But it looks like Notre Dame's vote, their push to get the votes, the 12 votes that they need in the ACC for the ACC to expand, came up short last night. Let's take a couple look here at a couple tweets. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, at a meeting Wednesday night, ACC presidents further explored expansion and again put off a vote, sources tell Yahoo Sports. This signals that disagreement exists among the group. At least 4 schools are pushing back. League needs 12 votes of 15 members. Larry Williams from Tiger Illustrated last night, he says, just been told the ACC is not moving forward with expansion. This sounds done. There's been other reports of this 4 or 5 schools that voted no for expansion. Included North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State. There was a report that North Carolina State also voted no on ACC expansion. So they cannot get, it doesn't seem like they can get the votes bringing in a California and Stanford. Even though them coming in at a reduced discount, even though SMU coming in without any revenue, it might prop up the current ACC schools a few million. I've seen some reports of $4 million each per year. That's a pretty decent bump, but it doesn't seem to be enough. And I understand it. I understand pretty much everyone's position on this. I get why California and Stanford would go for this. I understand why SMU would take zero revenue. They have the deep pockets. They have the donors. They have the oil money. They can go without 5 years of revenue just to climb the wall, just to get into a Power 5 conference. If they're willing to pay it, if they're donors, the money perch, if they're willing to pay it, I understand SMU's position. But I also understand Florida State position. I also understand North Carolina and Clemson, why they're not going for this. It isn't really going to help them that much. It might give them a pop in revenue, but it isn't going to close the gap. And again, the grant of rights is the issue. It goes all the way to 2036. These new schools coming in would have to sign the GOR to extend, and it would still remain 2036. That does not solve the issue for Florida State. And look at the game that Notre Dame was playing. Pushing hard for ACC expansion to get Stanford in as a conference member. So Notre Dame could play Stanford on their ACC schedule once every few years, and then they could have Stanford again out of conference game continuing on for years and years and years. But there are certain schools in the ACC that don't look like they're going to be playing. They're not going to be playing this game with Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets a full member vote. They're pushing for expansion candidates, and yet they will not join the ACC as a full member. The football game remains independent. That's an ACC source told Brett McMurphy Action Network. It doesn't make any sense to us. Look, Notre Dame, if you want to play with Stanford in the same conference, as conference mates, conference games within the schedule every single year, there is a solution for you, Notre Dame. There is a solution for the Fighting Irish to play Stanford every year. That is to join the Big Ten. So what do you say, Notre Dame? What do you say? What do you all say, PATC community? Put down your comments and thoughts. Notre Dame try to push for expansion. It looks like they got shut down, and I don't blame the Florida State Seminoles. I don't blame the North Carolina Tar Heels or the Clemson Tigers or the North Carolina State Wolfpack or whoever else voted no on ACC expansion. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.